Ladies and gentlemen, honorable chief guest of the day, esteemed guests, dear doctors, KIMS family members, and to everyone gathered here. A very good morning and a very warm welcome to each of you as we are gathered here for the inauguration of the Electrophysiology Lab with 3D mapping and CME program at KIMSHEALTH. As we all know, heart disease remains the leading cause of morbidity and mortality worldwide, making our work in cardiology more critical than ever. The prevalence of cardiac conditions underscores the necessity for specialized care and innovative treatment options. With this new lab, we are poised to enhance our diagnostic and therapeutic capabilities, allowing us to provide more precise and effective interventions for our patients. Recognizing heart disease as one of the foremost health challenges of our time, KIMSHEALTH has dedicated itself to providing comprehensive cardiac care through advanced technology and a multidisciplinary approach. At KIMSHEALTH, we are occupied with 12 senior consultants at the cardiology department and staffed by a team of highly skilled support personnel. So today, we are excited as we are moving on to a new milestone, 3D mapping technology and the CME program. To begin our program, I invite Dr. Ajit Kumar VK, former Director of SCT IMST and Senior Consultant and Coordinator of the Department of Cardiology at KIMSHEALTH, to deliver the welcome address. Sir, please.
M Najeeb, Senior Corporate Advisor. Dr. Inauguration, Director, VSSC, other dignitaries, colleagues, and my dear friends. It is my honor and privilege to welcome all of you to the inauguration of this electrophysiology 3D mapping lab. At the outset, I would like to welcome Dr. Somanath, Chairman ISRO, who has consented graciously to inaugurate the EP lab at KIMS despite his heavy and busy schedule. The successful moon landing of the Chandrayaan mission has etched his name permanently in the Indian ethos and history. Fundamentally, he is an aerospace engineer and he navigates forward based on signals from the space ISU, much like the signal-based electrophysiology studies on the heart that we are going to do based on these. I know him from the days when he was director of VSSC at Trivandrum. I would also like to welcome Chairman and Managing Director Dr. Sahadulla, who is forever keen on new endeavors. I believe and understand that he is so keen on investing in technology, which is the way forward. I would also like to welcome Mr. Varun Khanna of Quality Care in India and Mr. Najeeb, Senior Corporate Advisor, KIMSHEALTH. If you see, China has fast forwarded itself in the medical field as well as in all aspects of technology by a simple technique of investing in technology. But then if you look at India and if you look at the Indian budget in science and technology, it's a mere 0.5% of the GDP. Now, if you look at China and US, it's about 2% and 3% of the GDP. So we got a lot of space to grow. Now, what is this 3D mapping system that we have here? This is obviously new to you and perhaps even a fancy toy to a lot of cardiologists. So what does it do? Now, the heart is a mechanical pump, like something like a water pump, which works on electricity, and the heart works on electrical signals. Now, each beat of the heart is basically based on electrical impulses, which results in a coordinated sequence of contractions. Now, often these electrical signals of the heart, much like our KSEB, goes wrong, awfully wrong, such that the heart starts beating very fast or very slow and you need to have help. So what the electrophysiology system does is to map out these signals, track it out in a 3D space and find out where exactly it is, what exactly it is, and then tells you what exactly to do. So it makes life simple as far as these abnormal rhythms of the heart goes. So we then go and precisely hit the spot which the system points out, and we do it by radiofrequency ablation. I remember many years back in the 90s, a team of us at SCT had performed the first radiofrequency ablation in the country and maybe even in the Asia Pacific region. But this, of course, has grown to much greater extent. Now, there are not many EP units in the country, and in Kerala we have about 3-4 EP units, and I think and believe that this EP system will develop into a major arrhythmia unit for this part of the country as well as for the entire Kerala. All that we need is a precise growth of this arrhythmia unit, as we call it, which should blossom into a department. Now, once again, I welcome all of you to this EP system inauguration. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ajit Kumar, for those insightful words. Now, we will hear from Dr. Anis Tajuddin, Senior Consultant at the Department of Electrophysiology and Heart Failure Clinic at KIMSHEALTH, who will provide us with an overview of the electrophysiology unit. Let's give him a big round of applause and welcome to the stage. Sir, please.
Thank you, senior colleagues, especially thank you, Chairman Sir, Somanath Sir and Dr. Sahadulla Sir for gracing this occasion. So my job is to introduce the new Insight EP lab system which we are inaugurating today, and what we plan to do in the future and what we have been doing in the last few months. So our lab system and heart rhythm division at KIMS has been has been working full steam for the last 6 months or so since we introduced the system here, and I am grateful for this honor of taking forward this great division in cardiology. So in heart rhythm division, we not only deal with even slow heart rates which we detect on monitor, we also deal with the loss of consciousness or syncope, and also sudden cardiac death and how to prevent sudden cardiac death. Now in the recent developments, we have important algorithms and steps which we take in the department to identify cause for syncope, or to evaluate a sudden cardiac death survivor with imaging test and advanced genetic testing even. And then we run pacemaker clinics and arrhythmia clinics where we deal with cardiac implantable electrical devices, moving from pacemakers in the 1980s. Now we have ICDs which are used to treat ventricular arrhythmias and to prevent sudden death, and we have CRTDs to improve heart function in certain patients. And then we have twice monthly pacemaker clinics and heart failure clinics which will take this division forward, because many of these patients require long-term medical care, frequent monitoring to prevent progression of heart disease and to follow up the functions of these devices. But invasive procedures for arrhythmia, the backbone of cardiac electrophysiology is electrophysiological studies and ablation procedures which we do in the cath labs and sometimes even in the OT. So previously, like even 2 decades back, we used to put in all these catheters which you can see here into the heart. These are solid catheters with electrodes at multiple points along the catheter from which we will record the signal. And so you can imagine, you can see multiple electrograms which are intracardiac recordings of signals, and often by looking at these electrograms, how they the timing of the electrograms, we tend to diagnose various arrhythmias and result, and we can perform curative ablation procedures in many of them. But now with the introduction of the 3D mapping system, the field of electrophysiology has changed dramatically. We can, instead of just limiting ourselves to certain benign arrhythmias in the past, we can manage and treat even complex arrhythmias like life-threatening ventricular tachycardias or even atrial fibrillation, ventricular fibrillation in some cases. The 3D mapping system is a complex system. You can compare it to a GPS positioning system, the Google Map like things in some way. But what it does is incorporate local electrical signals which we derive from various catheters which we introduce into the heart chambers. Sometimes these catheters have multiple electrodes, like this one which has 16 electrodes, and we can simultaneously visualize multiple electrical signals from multiple areas or multiple chambers of the heart, and we can incorporate these signals into 3D geometry of the heart, which is created using this system, which will also give information on the distribution of voltage and scar in the various chambers of the heart. So something like space travel, where re-entry is important, like in EP, but re-entry is very important. It is the thing which makes EP electrophysiology interesting, and re-entry is the basis of most rhythm disorders, as Dr. Ajit sir was saying previously. So in re-entry is underlying, in re-entry the electrical signals travel around anatomical obstacles or scars and produce a circuit within the heart. So the electrical signals can go round and round around these obstacles, and each time it completes a circle, which is called a cycle length, or which is comparable to an orbit. It produces a heartbeat. So most of these arrhythmias, where the heartbeats can go up to 200 or 300 times per minute, is due to re-entry. And once we localize the sites of re-entry within the heart, you take care of a slow conducting zone within the re-entry area, and you can create a permanent block in this re-entry zone and terminate the tachycardia and cure the patient. So like the GPS, which you have the Google map, which incorporates multiple information, the information from moving vehicles taken by the satellite, and then gives us this map which shows the traffic, even the congestion. So even an auto or rickshaw can, if it breaks down in this area where the red traffic congestion is more, it can block the traffic. So like that, we have to identify critical areas within the heart where signals travel at a slower rate and between channels. And once we identify these critical channels, like in this circuit on the heart, this is derived from intracardiac mapping using multi-electrode catheters. You can see the crowding of signals based, it's a color representation, but basically you can identify the slow conducting zone and where the circuit slows down. So this is the critical isthmus where you can give ablation lesions, block these currents, and derive permanent cure. And this is how these 3D anatomical mapping systems work. So now with the latest areas of the heart, and these are all the electrograms which are derived from this single mapping catheter inside the right atrium in this case, and which will help us localize the circuit in this case in the posterior right atrium. So this system has many advantages, including omnipolar mapping, which gives ultra high definition maps, near field information, and gives more stable geometry than the previous system. And all this gives greater confidence in the completeness of the map, with easier definition of the circuit, quicker identification of critical sites, and durable ablation lesions with force sensing catheters. So all these are advantages. I will not go into the details to bore you. In effect, when a patient presents with a very rapid ventricular tachycardia, almost resulting in sudden death, in this case, in this patient who, in fact, he was admitted here 3 months back with this ventricular tachycardia, requiring multiple cardioversions, and this is converted into this map by the electromagnetic system. By mapping inside the left ventricle, you can identify this isthmus, where narrow zone of conduction, where there is crowding of colors, and this area is targeted to give permanent cure. And so with that, I will end this talk. Thank you all for listening, and thank you all for our because last few months we have done a few cases, interesting ones, which we have presented elsewhere also. Thank you to our technical team led by Intu for learning these things very quickly, and also team from St. Jude, which has helped us in the cases. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anis, for the enlightening overview and for the nice presentation. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Varun Khanna, Managing Director of Quality Care India Limited, who will share his thoughts on the significance of this advancement. Let's give a big round of applause and welcome to the stage. Sir, please, out to you.
I'm not sure whether I'm more excited with the EP launch or I'm more excited with the Rocket Man being here. And Dr. Anis, don't mind, I'll start with a little bit of non-electrophysiology. This is amazing, but when Dr. Sahadulla told me yesterday that we have the ISRO chairman coming for the launch, the kid in me got excited. You were all kids at some point in time, were you or no? How many of you wanted to become an electrophysiologist? And how many of you wanted to fly a rocket at some point in time? Even you? Even our electrophysiologists wanted to fly a rocket. It is an honor today to be here with you. And honestly, all of us sitting here have at some point in time dreamt of doing what you do. In many ways. And I don't know if you have seen the serial Rocket Man, but I think 90% of us have. And that actually ignited the thought of how people like you, yourself, and your department and your organization have added to India's capability and bringing India on the global map. So it's a privilege to be here with you. Doctor, let's put our hands together for Dr. Somanath. This morning, and exactly, so yesterday again, when Dr. Sahadulla told me electrophysiology launch, I did not even Google electrophysiology for a half a minute. But when I knew Dr. Somanath is coming, yesterday onwards, I was just reading up on him. And there are a few exciting things that I got to know about him. He's made multiple contributions to ISRO, whether it's PSLV, GSLV, cryogenic propulsion, and something that caught my attention was reusability and technical advancements. And this morning when I had literally 5 minutes with him, I also realized that at the core of his heart, he seems to be somebody who's very fascinated with healthcare. He and his organization do a lot today on emergency medicine, etc. And that I'll probably leave to him to speak at some point in time. Let me now also take the opportunity of sharing with all of you as to what we are doing as QCIL. And I don't know how familiar you are, Dr. Somanath, with Quality Care India Limited. It's a newer company. It's a company that got forged about 7 months back with a clear purpose of how to redefine the Indian healthcare system. So we're bringing a lot of brands together, and three amazing brands today in the country have already come together, which is KIMSHEALTH, Care Hospitals, and Evercare in Bangladesh, to really create a network of about 5,000 beds already. From a scale and size standpoint, we today are the 5th largest in the country. And I also must tell you, we currently have 25 centers across 10 states in India. And out of these 10 states, we have market leadership from a bed standpoint in 8 states. Now you'll wonder, how come we have this leadership in 8 states? One of the things that we've done extremely well is that we've created access for more Indians. What is access? Access is really getting hospitals or infrastructure in places where it isn't available today, to doing it at a price point which is more affordable for the Indian community, 3, doing it at a quality outcome which is globally benchmarked, and 4, completing programs which are not there in any respective city. And as I go on to the 4th point, which is completing programs, that's where what Dr. Anis is doing today is coming in. From every clinical program standpoint, we need completion. And electrophysiology today completes the program at KIMS in totality. Our focus as an organization is on 3 things, and I always talk about this. Our if I can call it, our healthcare domain is very simple, is working on 3 things: talent, technology, and infrastructure. And what we are trying to do today is create that infrastructure along with the right technology and talent. I think a few other things that you may not know about Quality Care as a network. We've been pioneers to things that are awesome. We were the first company in India to have created an indigenous cardiac stent. And that, I don't know how many of you know, the first cardiac stent made in India was actually worked upon by QCIL. The first fetal heart surgery in India was performed in QCIL. The first womb transplant was done at QCIL. So there are many firsts to the network that we currently run. And what excites me is that we impact about 4 million lives every year, and that's not small. 4 million patients every year today come to us and get treated and go back happy. I think our commitment to becoming the largest, and I know that Dr. Somanath asked me this question in the morning, what size does to you? Size really brings in the economies of scale. Size allows us to transform healthcare from an India context, because India needs a lot of digital technology to be able to provide access to 1.5 billion Indians over the next 5 years. And I think that only size can do, because a standalone single hospital will never be able to afford or create a technology that the country needs for right level of care. With that said, Dr. Anish, thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this to the organization, creating the access. The ad that you showed in the speech that you had was phenomenal. I wish you, the entire department, all the technicians, the very best, and may God, through you, be able to serve a lot of patients who need this treatment. Once again, a warm congratulations. Thank you.
A very good morning to each one of you, and it's a great occasion, and it's a real honor to have Dr. Somanath with us. And I was trying to contact him and get him for some time, and being the foremost scientist in India, and he's always often busy, and I really appreciate that you found some time to be with us. And thank you very much. So please give a big welcome to him. I'm not going to talk much about Dr. Somanath, but certainly ISRO has any organization in India, whatever achievements we make in the space or anywhere, we always look at it, how we touch upon the normal lives. And that is what they really make the difference. And the Prime Minister is always has emphasized, we 3 times we launched, the launch to the moon, and we reached the moon, and we have many firsts in ISRO. But what are the ways we also can, meanwhile, touch upon the lives of ordinary people? And KIMS, with the platform we are in, has a size advantage at the moment in India, and trying to grow further. But our question is also the same, how we can touch upon the common lives well. So here with ISRO itself, we have done a few programs through AHPI, and one of the program is Dr. Shamim should be here, on the emergency medicine, the patient turnaround time, and how we can improve. Probably there is a little bit more to it, and there are a few hospitals in India were involved, and that was a very fruitful study, and Shamim and his team were involved. And today we are working with ISRO, I think our pulmonology department, Dr. Arjun. Arjun is here? Yeah. Hi, Dr. Arjun. Yeah. Dr. Arjun and the Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology, IIST, we are on a common research program on certain breathing apparatus which can really record the oxygen changes and the various carbon dioxide changes. In fact, I myself do not know the detail. They came to my office and explained, Arjun and the professor from IIST. And I think just now Dr. Somanath said that they have a 450 bed hospital in the IIST compound. And so I thought, okay, there is another hospital coming in with the cardiology and all that. No, it's a very research-based hospital to really improve. Another area we have come together is the Jaipur Foot. That's one of our CSR project. And we have already given 2,000 Jaipur Foot for lower limb people, amputees, totally free. And in the process of developing the Jaipur Foot, one of the hard thing was that the ankle, which does not have much of a flexion, and that's the most important part of the function any amputee should have, or any artificial limb should have. And so that was achieved only because some of the materials which has come from the ISRO as a byproduct of their research, as well as the satellite byproducts. So there is a lot of areas we are working together, and we would like to work together more. And in fact, research and development should be one of our real criteria to go forward, and that is what India needs. And even one of the meetings, PM really highlighted that in one area we are a little behind is in R&D. I think many areas we are far advanced in R&D also. However, in healthcare, I feel that we have stents, we have valves which we have been, really indigenous. Many things are coming, but real R&D a bit more has to be developed, and we hope that in the coming future, KIMS as and QCIL, everybody together, and we have to put our mind into spending a bit more money on R&D. And that's where we will look forward to Dr. Somanath for your suggestions and future growth. I'm not going to go into details of it and your accomplishments. India has reached Moon thrice, Mars, and soon shall reach Venus, and so on and so forth. We got it, so many details about your accomplishments. The one we are interested, the newly announced Smart Tech microprocessor controlled knees, which offer extended capabilities for the amputee, more than those offered by the passive limbs that do not use the microprocessors. We also try to make electronic arms and electronic limbs, but it becomes very expensive and costly. And we imported one or two for a couple of our young people who had to be amputated here. Again, we did it on a CSR. One of them costs about 65 lakhs. So I don't think anybody can afford that in our context. So I think these are the areas we can really work on, and I'm pretty sure we can do wonders on that. I want to congratulate all the cardiologists. I didn't introduce all the cardiologists to Dr. Somanath, and maybe after the inauguration, Dr. Praveen, Dr. Ramesh Rajan is here, Dr. Padmaja, and Ajit, of course, is here. Pillai. Pillai is my cardiologist also. And so we had Dr. Ramesha Pillai, and Dr. Vijay Raghavan could not come here, and we always remember him with so much reverence because he initiated all the activities as well as the research, and he is very, very keen to publish so many papers. And so all the other cardiologists, and as Anis Tajuddin said, our technical team is very important for this, proper functioning and all that. I remember about 30 or 35 years ago, I was in Boston. I met a Malayali EP guy there. So he was explaining to me about, he sits at home and controls many people's heart and the machines and all. Some of it when I visited his house, he was explaining to me. And so I was wondering, when is it going to come to my hospital? And at that time we don't have even a hospital. And so I'm really proud and really be part of the whole development which India at large had in healthcare. And but each and every development has come into our hospital also, without any delay at all. In fact, today we are looking at interventional MRI, and interventional MRI it is developed in Netherlands, and this is the what Anis Tajuddin and other cardiologists do, especially the ablation, is done when the patient is in the MRI scanner. And so you can see the tissue, you can see the after effect after you ablate. And so that is what is coming. And India, it has come at. And so I told Hari Prasad just to go ahead and negotiate and see. This is something which we can contain into our cost, and so that we will take it to our board and see whether we can, and that should be first time in India. So there's a lot of developments is happening in the EP area also. So Anis, and I know that you are doing a great job, and I really want to congratulate yourself and team. And once again, thank you. And once again, all the consultants and all the friends and all the colleagues who are here, really obliged to I consider it an honor that we could all be part of it. And finally, Dr. Somanath, once again, thank you very much for coming, being with us for these few minutes. Thank you.
Sahadulla, Chairman and Managing Director of KIMSHEALTH, Dr. Ajit Kumar, who just gave the welcome speech, the former director of the Sri Chitra, as well as now the senior consultant here, Dr. Varun Khanna, who is the Managing Director of QCI, Dr. Anis Tajuddin, heading this unit of the EP unit, Dr. Najeeb, and all the cardiologists and guests who are assembled here. My greetings to you all on the occasion of this inauguration. Though it has been working here for the last 6 months, I know. Dr. Sahadulla has been requesting me to come over and see this. So I consider it as a visit, not as an inauguration. Okay. Of a wonderful machine that will, I think all machines are meant to do that, to make ease our life and the science and technology behind doing it. And for us, technology side of what you are doing, and possibly I don't know whether I am very more happier or sad about the part of engineering coming more into medicine, or scientific equipments coming more into medicine, especially in the domain of diagnostics and treatment. Maybe this is the way the world changes, that you need more and more equipments to probe into systems and understand it. It's also very clear, recently announced, I think 2 days back, the prizes were announced for the physics as well as chemistry, and maybe the others are yet to come, and all are on AI and neural networks domains. And we seems to likely to have the edge between different domains waning out, not making understanding which is what, chemistry is physics or physics is biology, I don't know really. So AI has gone into every domain, and it has now come in a manner that AI is into physics now, AI is into chemistry, and chemistry Nobel is for synthesis of molecules through the AI process is what they brought them the Nobel this year. And all the veterans of the AI machine learning were awarded the physics Nobel this year. So why I am saying is the boundaries between engineering and medicine is actually now becoming much lesser. And I have an interest, of course, is into the diagnostics, because we people in rockets do the diagnostics in a great way, especially looking at signals. Measurement is a very important activity in whatever we do. Again, picking the signal, amplifying and analyzing it to make sense out of all of this, and then decipher what exactly is going with complex circuits, and then make the processors understand it in a manner as we send probes into space, and then diagnosis how it is working very well there or it is working very bad. It is similar to what you do on understanding human machines through its signal analysis. Earlier, I believe the doctors were not looking at the signals in the form of electrical signals and looking at patterns and make signatures out of it, but it was more of a different kind of processes that go into your training to understand what is go wrong with you. But now it has become more of our culture. It looks good to me. For that we can apply those principles of machine learning and AI into it much better than that you can do it in the previous times. I think this is a great growth. Especially the domains like the Quality Care India, which is trying to bring in connectivity across many hospitals. It actually brings, what you bring is actually data, huge amount of data that will come from various sources, the patient data, the healthcare data, the treatment information, the medicine, its effects, etc. And this data is going to be precious in the coming days. I was listening to one of the presentation yesterday in Delhi. I just came yesterday night, late night at Bangalore and traveled early morning today to come here. That presentation was yesterday in the presence of Prime Minister on the plan of various technology domains, what we want to do in the next 25 years. One of the topic was discussed was on the healthcare. How you really look at healthcare in the long 25 years of our journey and how its expansion can really happen. Of course, in addition to many other topics which we discussed. But then here the major topic was really in a country like India, the data-driven healthcare is going to be one of the important domains as identified by them. Of course, this is done by secretaries, not by doctors. So I must admit that they may be well advised by the doctors. But then data-driven healthcare is something very, very important. And to have such a system and to have based on the data that you will be able to interact with the computers or natural language models to in local languages, and then allow patients to interact and then get some sort of advisories or help or treatment advices, etc., which can actually transform our landscapes substantially. For example, if somebody is able to connect to a local hospital through his mobile phone in its local language and then get advisories on many of the health related issues, I think it will be a revolutionary thing to happen, like the digital revolution that has actually happened in India. Possibly this is some steps that are to be taken. But then coming to complex problems of this nature, like the heart issue, heart diseases, machines of this nature becomes very important. Equally important is the diagnostics. For example, Dr. Sahadulla was talking about Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, where that hospital is going to come up. He just mentioned, not at IAST, of course, not ISRO. That hospital is going to be a research hospital where they are going to work on technologies related to medical care is going to be one of the focus in the research. So there will be half of them will be doctors, half of them will be engineers who is going to work together in that hospital to develop newer methods, especially in the domain of diagnostics, machine development, equipment development, etc. will become one of the important research domain in that hospital. I think this is a great move that is happening in one of the premier institution of Indian Institute of Science, which I was a student there long back. But then the point is that the diagnostics become extremely important for Indian context, especially low-cost diagnostics. Techniques, for example, taking blood samples and analyzing and various other tracers that you can pick it. I think it is very, very important to look at it and how to bring down the cost of such processes and also do it in a very large scale through very simple equipments and methods that are going to be revolutionary. Some of the research happening in one of the lab in Indian Institute of Science, the lab is called SENSE Lab, which is a microelectronics lab, which they create very small chips where you have fluid pass, which will you admit the blood into it, it goes into multiple fluid paths and do the analysis and get the results in very short time. Some of them are really wonderful devices they have developed. I think integrating this data, then capturing this data into a medical system and then doctors advising them, it will be really a game changer in our context, in the Indian context. Specifically if a local health care provider goes to societies and collects samples and do this testing right there in front of them, and then this data goes through an IoT system, possibly space also will come in collecting, picking this data through satellites, come to the servers and then do the analysis and give them based on the databases available or the AI engine available, you provide them the advisory, what exactly could be wrong with you. It will be a really wonderful thing. I think doctors will become irrelevant in such a complex situation. It will be more of a scientist engineer type of work. But I believe that the focus should shift into, of course there is a lot of work for doctors. I am not telling you that you will have a job of different nature. I think that the nature of the job will change, that is happening to our domain as well. But then this becomes very important area of research. As Dr. Sahadulla mentioned about the R&D component in medical care is also equally important. I think this is something which is not getting attention at this moment. And really we are actually losing the focus where exactly is R&D needed. I think this is also an issue. One domain which I mentioned is the diagnostics and equipment design and development over a long period of time for medical care is one area which is very weak, because if you look at the import content of our healthcare part, large part of the import content is still equipments. It mostly comes from outside only. There is hardly anything made. Recently, I was visiting one of the electronics manufacturing company in Bangalore. The company is manufacturing most of the medical care equipments, electronics hardware is made in Bangalore, and as cards and parts it is made and shipped to a European country where they will get assembled and packaged in this form and will come back branded as that equipment name, but it's made in India. Okay, so but we don't understand that, we don't know what exactly is inside, but the sensors possibly coming from somewhere else. But then there is a huge amount of manufacturing of this taking place in India, but not branded as an Indian product yet. So this is one domain that we need to grow in the coming days, building equipments for medical care. Slowly happening. So I think this is slowly building up, but it's not really in a big way, because fundamental work is not being done, especially in sensor development, signals analysis, and all those type of things. But hardware making is still possible. Similarly, on the basic research in the medicine also is something which is lacking. For example, the diagnostic equipments or tools, etc. Also, I believe that everything we cannot be first, but I think this one area we can be first, which I mentioned in the beginning, is the AI and machine learning approaches. With a strong IT background in India, I think this domain, especially the domain of data analytics and providing NLP based, natural language processing based tools and solutions, I think this is going to be one of the important area that India can focus and develop capability in next 5-10 years of time, especially in the healthcare area, like many other areas. I think it's happening in agriculture in a big manner. AI is coming in terms of precision agriculture, seeding, pesticide control, etc. I'm aware of it. And AI is coming into many other domains as well. I think healthcare is one of the focus areas that has been identified by government. I believe some of the work that you should do in KIMS should also be focused on this aspect of it. I think you should recruit some people who will be good at data analytics and work on the huge amount of data that you are collecting out of patients to create some models, so that you can help the doctors can be helped by alternate suggestions other than their own experiential conclusions, can be supplemented by the analytical solutions and suggestions provided by machine learning tool that will help them to start with. Possibly once they are trained enough, I think you should be in a position to take up more and more challenging assignments. Today, I think this machine electrophysiology unit is now inaugurated, but then I really understand that its role and importance is very, very significant for healthcare in the domain of people having issues with their heart. Recently, I was also on operating theatre for some other issues, so I came to understand the complex nature of the machines that play into human body. I was made safer by some interventions of that nature, and also the type of diagnostics that go into understanding this. It's really amazing to see the growth of medical care, and technology interventions in this sector is really good, and KIMS is definitely a leader in it. Though it may be a very costly machine, I think you have played made an important decision today to bring it to India in this part of this country to help the patients. And the association with ISRO of KIMS has been very long-standing. I think you are one of the biggest patient care supporter of ISRO's patients in this part of the country, and that will continue. And I have been all the time when I was a director here also always discussing with KIMS to make it more affordable to us, and also to make it to accessible to all of us. I think this they have been doing with the gracious support. It has been going very well. Thank you so much for that wonderful work. But more importantly is the research work that we do between ISRO and KIMS. Because of the strength that you have here in terms of the faculty, doctors and other support staff, you can do research here. Really a focused research can be done. But then investing in R&D is going to be, immediately won't see it as a return of investment, whether it will come. This is a major challenge many of the private institutions are facing today. This is again another topic which is currently under discussion government. There is a new announcement called Anusandhan Research Foundation, which is currently announced as a 1 lakh crore budget in government, primarily funded through the governmental means as well as the private investment. I think this is something we should catch on. I think this discussion need to happen on how KIMS can source funding from such governmental schemes like the Anusandha Research Foundation and create an R&D ecosystem in private hospital. So here research support is just not in the governmental system, but research should be encouraged in private domain is the primary focus of Anusandha Research Foundation. And this must definitely, you should make some proposals in that regard. If you can work on it, where there a good R&D team can be identified, R&D topics can be identified, I think that will be a great journey for a hospital like this to add knowledge other than just healthcare alone to be provided. I wish all the very best to KIMSHEALTH for this wonderful work that you have done, the new mission that has come, and my honor to be here to be a part of this inauguration. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Our guest of honor, Dr. Somanath, Chairman and Managing Director of KIMSHEALTH, Dr. M Sahadulla, Mr. Varun Khanna, Dr. Anis Tajudeen, Dr. Ajit Kumar, and all the other KIMS family members. Dr. Somanath said Dr. Najeeb. I was thinking, because many times many speakers have given me the doctorate, but just for the information of Dr. Somanath, I'm not a doctor. I'm a non-doctor in this whole group. I'm involved in the EP, I was saying, I'm not a doctor, I'm a non-doctor in the whole group. So I was involved in the negotiation of this EP machine. And, with a lot of negotiations, we got a good price and we bought it. And, if you look at the journey of KIMS in the last 22 years, we have witnessed many happy occasions. And we also have probably witnessed very few happiest occasions, in the journey. This is probably one of the most happiest occasions we have witnessed in KIMS in the last 22 years. That is basically with the great presence of the brilliant person, a pride of our country, Dr. Somanath here. I had met him when I was in Trivandrum Management Association, and he came as a member, and all of us, we have a lot of Trivandrum Management Association members are here because they feel it a real honor to meet Dr. Somanath, to hear anywhere their function is, they're all there. So they have come here also to show, pay their respects to you, and we are absolutely happy that you have come here to inaugurate this, EP lab. I was actually, trying to convince Anis Tajudeen and Dr. M Sahadulla that we will get the governor or we will get the chief minister or any VIP to inaugurate this. We had a robotic, machine which we have bought few months back, and almost similar time this was also purchased. Robot we have inaugurated with Dr. Shashi Tharoor. Then we have asked Anis has nothing doing. I don't want any politician or I don't want anybody else. I only want a technology person, and that is none other than Dr. Somanath. So he was insisting that. So today we are very happy because Dr. Somanath came here and inaugurated this, and the entire KIMS family members. We have several senior doctors, are here in front of us, and extremely grateful to Dr. Somanath for your kind presence here, and also an excellent speech as well as suggesting KIMS to join the research facility with the government, and we will definitely consider that, and we will be very happy to do that. And very happy. Thank you, Dr. Thank you very much. We have, I have to thank a few more people, and of course, I have to thank Malika, Dr. Somanath's daughter is here, and I'm so happy that you came along with him and to witness his function. Thank you, Malika. Thank you very much. Basically we have to really thank the KIMS team especially the purchase team, for taking a lot of pains to negotiate and identifying a machine like this. Mr. Shashi Madhavan, Hari Prasad, and the entire purchase team, I have to thank them for taking such a lot of effort. Of course, it was with me, and we spent so many days to do that. And thank you very much for your efforts. Dr. Sahadulla, all of us know that his vision is KIMS. And the last, I still remember the first day he came to Trivandrum after taking a voluntary retirement for Aramco. On January 1st, he came here. By 6 o'clock in the morning, he arrived, and 10 o'clock he came here and took over to start the function in the full scale. And from that day onwards, he's only doing one job, that is KIMS, nothing else. We all do so many other things, but he's only doing one job with a great vision and a great leader. And that is only because of that, his commitment, 24 hours, KIMS is at this level. And we sincerely thank Dr. Sahadulla for his vision and leadership and his complete efforts to take the team together. Varun Khanna, or Managing Director of KIMSHEALTH, he came here on Monday morning. We met. Probably at that time we did not know that he is going to attend a function like this. And he's a very dynamic person. After taking over few months back in KIMSHEALTH, he had several meetings with all his joining hospitals, and here in Bangladesh and there. We all went there, and absolutely brilliant leadership he is giving to the whole organization. And we are so happy that you are here and to witness this function, as well as making a good speech and also saying good words about Dr. Somanath. Thank you very much. We have heard about Anish Tajuddin and as well as Dr. Ajit Kumar. Both of them have been very, very happily and presenting the entire scientific and technical and medical things, and probably a common man also could understand what they have been talking, even though we are not doctors. But I really appreciate their great commitment. Entire cardiology department deserves a great appreciation, and especially Ajit Kumar, Anish Tajuddin, and Dr. Aman Shamla sir is sitting here. He is currently supporting everybody. Dr. Sumitran, Dr. Patnaja, Dr. Praveen, Dr. Ramesh Nagarajan, Dr. Harshi Karim. Also, an important person, that is Mrs. Indu Cath Lab Senior Manager. She was in the stage here. And special thanks to Indu also for your absolutely brilliant, excellent commitment for to KIMS and to the entire team. Thank you very much. We have so many senior doctors are here. I'm not going to say everybody's names here. Jerry Philip, our CEO, is here. Mr. Vinod, our marketing head, is here along with the team. Jagal, Reshmi, Safar, Henna, and their team. They are doing a great job. They organize all the functions very well and very meticulously do that. And special thanks to the marketing team. And we have Dr. Zuhara, Dr. Saffia, Reshmi, and Shashi. Shashi also is another important person who is coordinating with this. And our co-founder, Mr. Iqbal, and the Trivandrum Management Association, NIPM executive members are here. TPI, Medi Assist, Vidal, Cryo Viva, Health Insurance, TPG. Everybody is here, and I especially thank everyone. And also my special thanks to the entire medical team, biomedical team, as well as the entire entire media members who have attended to cover this program. Once again, I'm not going to say the names of all the senior doctors because there are so many people here, and everyone, please accept our heartfelt thanks and gratitude for your kind presence here to witness a very important function here. Thank you very much once again, Dr. Somanath. Thank you.